So many of my messages and lessons come from the curriculum of life. This week's message is no different. So, what lesson did I learn about this week, you might ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. I have a partner in adventures that for almost the past decade has included food and community. Well, we had planned to connect over yarn this past week. But because of the nature of friends we are, it started with a why don't we meet at my house and have lunch first? Really? Do you think I turned it down? My friend Debbie is a locally sourced, fresh food, healthy cooking and eating kind of friend. So it's always a treat whether we're cooking together, sharing recipes or techniques, or if she's cooking and I'm simply smelling and eating. Lunch was the LaRahna smelling and eating kind of lunch this week. Lunch was the setting, but really it was a catch up day where we update each other on the things that are firing up our lives. Well, my friend has been on a new healthy eating journey that's included specifically the kinds of foods that would create and maintain a healthy gut biome. We've had several conversations about this recently, and one of those conversations is why I've been adding chickpeas to my salads on purpose for the health of my gut. Baby steps, y'all. I'm taking baby steps. On our lunch day, she was telling me about the probiotic foods that were worked into our lunch. But then she told me about the prebiotics that included all of the vegetables in the most fabulous soup she made on a foundation of butternut squash. I have a love affair going on with butternut squash, in case you didn't know. Whoa, Debbie, you see, I'm a bit less informed, and that's the nice way of saying I'm clueless about the underlying science of gut health. And my friend is a science person. In simple terms, explain that to me again. And it was as if I could see her brain working to translate this lesson down to a sixth grade level. Like fermented vegetables and kefir, because that I have a little bit of information about. Mostly that I like them both and know that they make, I know how to make them. And I know that they're good for my gut. But in my mind, that's just an area that's located in my belly region. I know it's good for me, but I don't fully understand why and how. Well, I got the lesson and I'm going to share it with you. But remember, this is the LaRahna version of what I gathered from our lunch and learn. So here it goes. No judgment. That's kind of what you say when you might be a little bit insecure about the next bit of information that I'm offering, but I'm going to jump in anyway. So you have these probiotics. They are the colony of healthy bacteria that are good for us. They live in our gut. Yeah, that's still in my mind, the belly region of my body, somewhere ish. And getting them in there can happen most naturally through food. And there are different strains of bacteria, and depending on what kind of health focus you have, you might want more of one kind or another, but that's a territory of understanding that is beyond my knowledge level. So, this is food like fermented vegetables, milk kefir, water kefir, yogurt, and not all yogurt is created equal, I found out. For our lunch, it was a completely plant based coconut milk yogurt. Y'all, yogurt making is its own kind of magic. So, probiotics. And she told me about the value of eating real food versus the commercial peels that are for gut health. It's like mega amounts of the good stuff when it comes from food versus peels. But do the best you can until you can do better seems to fit like a good philosophy right here too. But how do you supercharge those bacteria? Make them grow real good. Well, you feed them. Well, LaRahna, feed them what, you might ask? Prebiotics. The prebiotics are the food that serve as fuel for the probiotics to feed off of. Yes, you can get them in there, But if they can feed off of good stuff, the stuff like the prebiotics, they grow up to be a nice, healthy colony, and you get a nice, healthy gut biome down there in that belly region. So, her strategy has been to make meals that have both the probiotics and the prebiotics to feed them. So, our lunch was a soup using a long list of prebiotic foods, and it was topped with a good, healthy, plant based organic probiotic. It was the magic down in my belly. And as I was processing this lesson and my lunch, I was thinking about it. And I said, so this is how a system in nature works. I wonder what spiritual truth follows the same pattern. And there it was, a spark. You see, I believe the solutions for us in society, in our lives, often mimic the same patterns we find in nature. So I'm always on a hunt for truth and meaning and how it can transfer to other areas of my life. What about my spiritual life functions in this way? And then I thought about it. Is the church a healthy biome? I've heard that word before and I kind of understand it, but because Google is also my friend, I went to understand more. You see, now it was relevant to give myself a science lesson. A biome is a biogeographical unit consisting of a biological community that was formed in response to the physical environment in which they are found and a shared regional climate. Biomes may span more than one continent. Biome is a broader term than habitat and can comprise a variety of habitats. But then I needed to know the definition for habitat so I could distinguish the difference. And I found out that a habitat is the location where a group of one type of organism or a population lives, while a biome is a community made of all the habitats in a given region and climate. Different organisms inhabit different types of biomes. Well, isn't church a biome? I thought to myself. We are a biogeographical unit. We are the church located as the Clayton Memorial UU Church of Newberry geographical region. Check. We have been formed in response to the spiritual and physical environment in which we are found, and we share in a regional spiritual climate called UUism. Check. Biomes can be comprised of healthy habitats like your family, my household, the units that make us a group. Check. Holy goldfish, we are a biome. This thing we do called church is a biome. Maybe. So, first, are we the good stuff? The good kind of bacteria forming healthy colonies? Well, we're doing our best, right? On some days, we might be the probiotic pills, not as robust, but still good for us. And some days, we are the prebiotic powered super probiotics going out into the world, like my lunch with my friend Debbie. Well, then, I thought, what is the prebiotic of a healthy church? What gives us fuel? What do we feed on? What encourages us to flourish? What's our prebiotic? I sat there for a few minutes and then I had an aha moment. Our covenant, our principles. What do we take in that, when taken in, gives us our health? We hold on to our covenant. We infuse it into our lives together every time we interact. We remind ourselves that our principles matter, and what matters most is living them. Letting them fuel our church, not just the once a week kind, but the holy goldfish kind of church where we are the pastors and shamans and priests of our own lives. And the people that we cross paths with, all of them are our congregation. Well, what about the Facebook friends that cross my path? It's just a post or a picture. Yep, that's church. And those are your flock of congregants. Well, surely not TikTok. Yep, they're your congregation too. But LaRahna, are they really? Yeah, I have joys and concerns that I share. I give many sermons, sometimes one image at a time. I go visit other folks' churches and pick up inspiration and messages and share in their joys and concerns too. Yep, it's my extended family congregation. Well, so what did I learn and what is the message? Lesson number one: for a healthy church biome, we need to put in the good stuff. Each one of us is the good stuff. But just like gut health, maybe there are some other strains that would be good too. Are our arms open to the other strains that might be beneficial to the mix? We are a welcoming congregation in spirit. Are we welcoming in real life? Personal question for each of us to ask. Have you shared your UUism with others? Simple ways. Take our New Year's message and post it and share it in your congregation of social media friends. If you don't know how, ask me. But I might point you to Rick if you ask me too many questions about how. But teamwork and our prebiotic, well, we affirm. We affirm that love is our greatest purpose and accepting one another is the truest form of faithful living, that the search for truth is our constant star, and we come each week and we pledge over and over and over again our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to find hope in times of fear, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values every day as a beloved community. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life each and every time we come together. But what are those values? Those you values? Well, our first principle says that the inherent worth and dignity is in every person. Our second principle says justice, equity, and compassion in human relationships is what we strive for. Our third principle says acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations is our mission. Our fourth principle says that a free and responsible search for truth and meaning is the responsibility of each and every one of us. Our fifth principle says the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large is how we function in community with each other. Our sixth principle says that the goal of world community is about peace and liberty and justice for all. And our seventh principle says that when we have respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, we are truly living our faith. But where did we get that stuff from? Our six main sources that have given us a foundation, at least a starting point, even if we're revising it as we go. It says that the direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder, affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. That's one of the sources. But that there's words and deeds of prophetic people which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love. And some of those people might be alive and walking the earth still today. Our source comes from the wisdom from the world's religions which inspire us in our ethical and spiritual life. But some of our foundation comes from the Jewish and Christian teachings which call on us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbor as ourselves, even as we wrestle with that definition of what the concept of God means to each one of us. We pull from the humanist teaching, which counsel us to heed the guidance of reason and the results of science, and they warn us against idolatries of the mind and spirit. It comes from sources of spiritual teachings from earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. These are our prebiotics. If we want a healthy church biome, we the people, let's be the best stuff we can be for the world. Some days, our best is that probiotic peel. But let's strive in every opportunity we have to be supercharged. And how do we feed our spiritual colony? By feeding ourselves things that help strengthen our ability to live our principles. You see, folks, we are a community. In my body, when my internal gut is healthy, they are now showing that my whole body is healthier. The gut makes my mind healthier and the rest of my body parts too. I don't know all the science behind it, but the gut health thing is getting my attention. And because I want to give these probiotics the best chance at helping me with some of my health and wellness and fitness goals, I am now making sure to add a prebiotic to the mix. Y'all, we are the probiotics in our lives and community. We have the prebiotic solution at every bite. I mean, every opportunity in life. And we are adding our UU values to the mix. In our interactions, we are in the interactions that we have, when we are mindfully respecting the inherent worth in everyone we cross paths with, we are living that beloved community. When I treat you in a loving way, prebiotic. When I search out truth and seek to infuse more justice in the world, prebiotic. When I practice peace when I could practice something else, prebiotic. When I march or write a letter to our leaders, prebiotic. When I participate in our annual meeting and cast my vote, prebiotic. When I walk lightly on the earth, prebiotic. When we work to walk in the rhythms of nature, prebiotic mixed with probiotic. Friends, we are the biome. Let's be a healthy one. Healthy biomes in real life multiply. Start with some sourdough starter or kefir starter, and before you know it, you will need a bigger circle of friends to share with. What if our church biome worked the same way? If it's not multiplying that way in your life, I encourage you to add the prebiotics to your day. Well, LaRahna, what might that look like for real, in real life? How many people did you pass today, in real time or in virtual spaces, where you gave the equivalent of a loving smile? Did you pick up the scrap of garbage you saw in the parking lot? Did you smile at the cashier or the lady walking down the aisle? Did you post inspiration on your Facebook feed? Did you TikTok some hope to your virtual congregation? Did you send an email with words of hope and encouragement to a friend? Did you plant some flower seeds or water a lemon tree? Did you phone a friend who crossed your mind just because? Did you share a YouTube video with me because you know I needed it? Did you YouTube search for words and melodies to share with our biome this morning? Did you? Did you? Will you? Let's first be a healthy biome, each one of us. So what are you working on in your life to increase your health, both mind, body, and or spirit? And then let's not forget to add our prebiotic as often as we can to life. I'll be increasing my probiotic and prebiotic intake. It just seems like the way to get the biggest bang for my bucks out of life. What about you?